Hi, I'm Kelly Hushin, and we are here at PCon 2010. I'm here with Michael Dennis from Schreiber Foods, and you just led a roundtable, am I correct?
That's correct, yes.
And it was on, can you tell us a little bit about what it was on, what you guys talked about, and just some of the issues that you're facing that you maybe discussed at the table?
We focused our efforts, our roundtable was focused on MRO and packaging. It's kind of an odd mix, but the cross-section of people, we had multiple questions that came out. So they were technology-based and behavior-based. We also looked at the P-card as a mode of purchasing and payment. And those were some of our primary topics.
Okay, and what was the response? What were people really kind of interested to know from you? What were they really kind of picking your brain about?
I think the big challenge, if you could pick a theme, was simply around how do you herd the cats, so to speak. The MRO category is very elusive and extremely difficult to manage without the data. And for example, out of the 12 individuals or 13 individuals at the table, we had only 7 of the companies that were represented there actually had a system that collect the data. That data is key. That level 3 data is key to being able to run sourcing events and then validate any savings or continuous improvement mechanisms.
So what are they doing if they don't have some sort of organized collection of data?
Well, I certainly am glad that none of those folks are here, but and you know, it is a tough category. It's probably the toughest in my experience, but the way that they're managing it and managing their business now, it's somewhat of the Wild West, and it's an emerging category in that it's just starting to gain in the last couple of years profile. You never really put your best sourcing manager or your best director or your best purchasing agents in those roles with respect due. It was just keep the plant running, make sure my belts are in place, make sure I have the gearbox when I need it, make sure I have the lubrications that I have to have. And so there wasn't a lot of attention applied to it. Like versus the direct side, where there's typically very good quality control mechanisms in place and processes and procedures to ensure that the continuous flow of production happens.
Right. What do you think has caused this sort of shift towards more attention in this space and people kind of actually being like, well, maybe we should organize our efforts and get away from this Wild West format?
That's a great question. I think simply put, you know, the global economy and some of the downturns that we've experienced, when you look at as a purchasing organization or professional, you look at what's addressable versus not addressable. I think that after you have gone through your indirect side and you've taken out as much waste as you can, you turn your attention to the next largest rocks, so to speak, in the quarry, and MRO is a fairly decent indirect category as a whole, but MRO generally carries a significant price tag. And it's been ignored because of the complexity, but we just can't afford that anymore. We have to be aggressive and we have to be strategic around how we manage it.
Right. Now going back a little bit just to get some of your background, what exactly is your role and your functions within Schreiber Foods?
I joined Schreiber Foods a little over about a year ago. And my role is I'm responsible for indirect strategic sourcing, and that includes capital. And so it's to bring some of the best practices and more technology-driven solutions to the team. It's a phenomenal organization, a great team, very highly driven toward excellence and continuous improvement, but the outside perspective was what they were looking for at that point, and then to apply fresh eyes to the neglected categories.
Right, and what is your background? What had you done before?
Research and development, field engineering, mechanical engineering, and then I went to the purchasing, I call it the dark side of purchasing, which was frankly the best decision in my career. And it's been just a wonderful run. I realized that you're able to bring a lot of value working in cross-functional teams to drive lowest total cost, which not necessarily, it doesn't mean lowest piece price.
Now, coming into Schreiber Foods, what are some of the challenges that you faced initially with trying to implement new strategies or procedures? How did you kind of overcome any of those challenges, if you can talk about anything like that?
I think just the understanding of current state. It takes time to really understand what is the current state, what's the baseline, what systems are in place, what is the vision for the company, and it takes a couple months, more than a couple. It takes 4 or 5 months to understand. And for me, joining the company new, you want to get a few base hits. You want to earn the team's respect, and in the meantime, understand what's in front of you, the road in front of you. So I think the biggest challenge for me was to exercise a little patience, because I'm not patient in my nature, and to seek first to understand.
Right. And how long have you been with the company?
About a year.
Oh, okay, great. And what can you tell us a little bit about the company? What is Schreiber Foods? What's the company culture like? What's the mission? What do you guys do?
Well, Schreiber Foods, and this is a tough question to answer, but if you think about private labeled products, if it's not Kraft on the shelf, it's probably one of our products.
Wow. Okay.
We're very proud and very blessed to have customers such as McDonald's and Subway and Sam's and Walmart and such.
Okay.
We're a $4.5 billion organization globally. Very humbled to be part of the team.
Wow, wonderful. And how big is the global team, or at least just your team?
My team, I have I think 17 people in my whole team, and that includes some of the facilities. I have 5 direct reports, and we have a couple of requisitions in that I have not filled. And again, it's in the seeking to understand mode right now. It doesn't do any good to bring people on without the proper systems and processes in place. Certainly without complete integration or understanding of the mission statements that we have or the goals that we have. Before we have the foundational building blocks in place, it would be challenging to an outsider to come into the team and want to run when we're not quite ready.
Right. And just as kind of a last general question, what do you think some of the biggest issues are that face procurement organizations in large corporations today?
Wow, that's a great question. That's an easy one to answer. Also, I think our biggest challenges are, and it's odd because I never thought I'd have to say this, but it's very odd. The biggest challenge is the acquisition of talent, acquisition and retention of talent, the ability to bring the right people in at the right times, keep them interested, keep them energized, keep them challenged, and to hit the bullseye.
Well, hopefully then today has helped or will help, continue to help, because it's the Talent and Category Management Day here at PCon.
Yes.
So I will have to check in with you later and see if it did.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much for joining us.
Thank you.